Chris. And welcome everyone to Bones Arcade here at 14th and Broadwater. The Chris Dixon Coaches Show. And Coach, kind of a rough weekend this week. We'll get into that a little bit, talk a little bit about the game coming up with Tri-Cities, a big game in the playoffs, so got a playoff spot clinched. We know we're in the playoffs for sure. Just don't know where yet. But all that and more coming up after this 1-minute timeout with Coach Chris Dixon of the Billings Wolves. Well, Coach, a 2-day trip. You stayed, made a stop, stayed in Sioux Falls, I think, on the way down.
No, we went all the way.
Oh, did you?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went all the
I
way.
thought you were going to make a stop there, but talk a little bit about that long road trip and how you prepare and get ready to play that game.
Well, it was rough because of the AC situation, but for the most part, the guys did a great job of staying focused even through that. When we got to the hotel down there, they had a face towel and a like a big rag type of towel that didn't even fit. You know the little towels. You know you got your face towel, the towel, and then the big towel. Well, we only had the face towel and the towel in the hotel. So when we first got there, when I first showered, I had to wipe myself with the little towel. So already the AC on the bus. Then when you get to the hotel, you got a towel situation. Let me just tell you, that ride and that trip was probably the craziest trip of the year.
How about the game?
Um, we did. I mean, we did as much as we could. I mean, we battled. We made a lot of mistakes. Um, not players, coaches included. We made some mistakes down the stretch. Some calls that you wish you could have took back. As a coach, sometimes you just gotta live with it and just learn from it. And so, hey, I'm proud of the guys. They battled through all of our issues. One thing I can say is this team has dealt well with adversity all season long. We really didn't even get a chance to celebrate that we were in the playoffs. Most guys, we were so frustrated about losing that game, the way we lost that game. It was like You know, I remember getting on the bus, telling them, "Hey, congratulations, we're in the playoffs." I know I haven't told y'all that. And most guys were like, "It is what it is." And I was kind of proud of it. You know, instead of everybody being happy, they were still down about the game, and so that tells me I have a team who cares more about winning than anything else, and that's what they want to do. And I think now we almost to the point where we got a great group of guys. That really is here for the right reasons, and it's been that chase all season long that we've been chasing, finding 25 guys who all have one purpose, and that purpose is to win football games. You know, it's hard to have a team full of guys who really about themselves and really thinking about their next move or what they want to do next instead of being here and being happy and enjoying it and really wanting to play it on this team. You know, it's been a rough year. You know, we've had, something like, since camp, we've had something like, 34 changes. Um, I lost 11 in a week. And so, it's been a rough year, but you know what? I'm proud that we are in the playoffs, and we got 2 more games left. We can crack this 500 going into the playoffs. I just want to go in the playoffs with a winning streak, and that's key. I think for us, if we can go in with a winning streak, we get a bye week, get some guys healthy, we get ready for July 9th, whether it's here or where we got to go. But I'm praying it's here. I think we're going to get a home game, and we just got to keep grinding and keep going.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about the scenarios of that. If we win either one of the final 2 games, we seal up the home spot, right?
Well, no, this is how it has to go. We have to win. If we win both, we seal it. If we win one and Nebraska wins 2, we go to Nebraska. If Nebraska loses the first one and we win Saturday night, we automatically get the home game. Um, and it's crazy because if Tri-City beats us and beat Nebraska, Tri-City will come here for the first round of the playoffs. So it's still crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's still crazy, but we're excited, man, and seeing where this is gonna go. And we're trying to handle business, though. It doesn't matter who we get in the playoffs. We want to prove that we belong, and I still think I like our chances in the playoffs.
Coach, we got about a minute left on this segment. Talk a little bit about defensive this past week. You didn't have Mike Green on the field this week. He's definitely your leader there. But talk a little bit about both teams very good defensively.
Well, they come with a great D-line, and they proved it, Saturday night. We have one of the best secondaries in the league, and it's been a blessing to plug people into that secondary all year long, and we haven't given up a lot. To plug this secondary in and still cause 2 interceptions and still only really give up 14 points. I mean, they only really gave up 20 points on defense. I mean, the change is the return. The return by Jeremiah Price is the difference in this game. But to the defense credit, man, they played great. I mean, they flew around, and this is probably the one proudest game that I could really say our defense really came to play and came to work.
All right, Coach, come back here. We're going to talk. Got a couple players in here tonight. We're going to come back and talk with you a little bit about this big game coming up here at home on Saturday night against Tri-Cities. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. We'll be back with more on the Chris Dixon Show after this. Vince, talk to us a little bit about the game in the Cedar Rapids. You know, a tough bus ride going down there with air conditioning, and then Coach talking about not very big towels in the motel. Things
Man.
just not going right. But let's talk a little bit about the game.
Oh man, I think we played strong as a unit during this game. We fell short in a couple areas that I know we're gonna get fixed up, and for the next games we'll be upon it to get it done.
What's it like, Vince, when you go into a game like this one? I mean, I think you guys were 1-2 defensively in the league.
Yes.
You know, they got a strong defensive line. Coach alluded to that a little bit. But what's you guys' thought on the defensive side when you're going up against another good defensive team?
It's not. We don't really think about their defense. We think about the little things and the things we have to do to be great. That's one of the things our coaches really preach on is get the little things down. It's always nice to be good, but not too many people can go out and be great. And I think that's one of the things our defense tries to pride itself on is being great. Every play we try to, go 100% to the wall no matter what we're doing.
And went into this game without, I guess probably I'd have to say, your defensive leader and Michael Green.
Yeah, definitely. It was tough. It was tough. After, I'm still here. Going into the game without Mike was it was a little iffy at first, but we came together as a crew. He is definitely our defensive captain. But at the end of the day, we got to be as one, as a whole, and that's what we played as a unit.
Talk a little bit about Tri-Cities. You guys clinched the playoffs,
Yeah.
And we got all kinds of scenarios of whether we're going to be at home that first playoff game, who we're even going to play, what all. But first things first, we got Saturday night here against Tri-Cities.
Yeah, and playing against Tri-Cities is always a fun game, especially because I was with them in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And so that's always, to go against a team that you were once with is always fun. But, I mean, we're going to go at them as we do, every other game. Like I said before, be perfect, make the stops that we need and put our offense in good positions to put points on the board, and that's what we're going to do.
What do you think of that quarterback they got?
Jawad, yeah. I played with him actually on the team last year, and we went through some struggles together too. So, and he was my roommate.
Oh, really?
Okay. we're close. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully, he can throw a couple passes my way, and I'll get a couple sacks on him too. So we'll see.
I didn't know that you were roommates. I did know that you guys played. I had Jawad on the show. I think maybe even twice earlier in the year there when he was here. But it's always fun to go up against your old team, and then I guess especially against your roommate.
Yeah, definitely. And I had just talked to him yesterday on the phone about it, and he's excited to play us. We're excited to play him, and just get this game done and get on to the next one.
So did you tell him that your hands will fit his ball?
I think
when he throws that ball up there, it's got your name all over it.
Yeah, he knows. He'll probably try to veer away from me, but I mean, our defense is pretty stacked. So wherever he's going to go, it's a threat. All
right. What do you think of Spokane? They've clinched that playoff spot. We went out there, and gosh, I thought we had chances to win that game. We played pretty tough out there. Winning that first playoff game, we know we're going to have to go back out there. But what do you think of our conference overall?
I think we have a tough conference, but I think we're a strong defensive team and we're a strong offensive team, and now it's just putting the puzzles together. And I think we're going to get that done starting this week.
And that old adage always goes through: defense wins championships. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Defense and offense wins championships.
All
it's
right.
a team.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Vince.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and look forward chatting with you before and after the game on Saturday night after we get that win.
Yes, sir. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
All right.
Bye.
Vince Taylor, and we'll take a 1-minute timeout. We'll come back with Chris Martin after this from Dixon Coaches Show here at Bones Arcade. We'll be back in 1 minute. back to Bones Arcade here. Bob Ritter along with Chris Martin.
Hey.
Chris, another one of the defensive players here
Yes, sir.
for this Billings Wolves team. And, it's going to be hard to get words out of you tonight. I know that. You're just not a very talkative person, I hear. And
Somewhat, man. It's all right, though. It's
No,
all right. But yeah,
no.
I could be shy off.
Chris, let's talk about that game in Cedar Rapids.
Man, hey, we left it out there. I'll say this. Every single one of us, we played through injuries, we battled, we fought, and at the end of the day, as long as we can say that, the outcome is what it is. But we know that there's so many different times in that game where we have things, and it's just a certain little breakdown and a fix. And if we can tweak those in the next 2 weeks and get that improved, the Cedar Rapids games mean nothing in 2 weeks. None of these games mean anything in the next 2 weeks for us, potentially, So we once we get in the playoffs, we're 0-0, and hopefully within that time frame, we can work out the kinks and smoothing everything out. But Cedar Rapids game, we fought. I'll say that. We fought with everything we had. We hit them hard.
Talked a little bit about, Coach Dixon said he told you guys that after the game on the bus that you made the playoffs and we're in the playoffs, and he says I was kind of proud of them. They weren't really excited about that. They were more still thinking about the game that they just played, and more so than the playoffs, and kind of a team togetherness there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we all take the loss the same way, from the standpoint that it's disappointing when you give your all and it comes up short. So at that, the team morale wasn't. We weren't exactly down about it, but it was more or less cool. We're in the playoffs, but we know that there's so much better for us. When you know that there's so much more room for you to grow, it's hard for you to exactly swallow that pill of we just got beat by 8 points and there was so much given away and stuff like that and the schematics of the game. So once again, it's about rallying up, fixing this next couple weeks into the playoffs and being 0-0 and going from there.
Okay, so I kind of think the last two games. I mean, you went to Spokane the week before, and both very good teams in the playoffs and sitting in the playoffs, and kind of the same scenario in both games.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And just like the Spokane game, our defense, man, we came out and our main focus was stop Kennedy and make them beat us with everyone else. We did that, and we did that well. Execute our game plan, and sometimes other things fall short, and we just have to pick it all back up. Like we said, we're all a team at the end of the day. We're all in one. It's three facets of the game: offense, special teams, and defense. And if all three aren't going as a well-oiled machine, then certain things like what we've had happen, and we just got to find a way to correct those things. And like I say, get all three facets of the game going at a smooth, well-oiled machine.
How about this week? Tri-City's coming in here. Third time we play them this year. Talk just quickly some thoughts about this game coming up.
Gotta beat them.
Gotta
beat them. No options, no other choice. There's nothing about any kind of decisions that we have to make or what we have to do about it. It's just beat them. Well, by any means, doesn't matter if we have to run the ball every game or pass it every down or run it every down. I don't care what we got to do on defense. We're going to win this game. We will claw out of there with the win. I guarantee that.
So this, I would have to say that these two games are basically playoff games during the regular season.
Very much so. They have implications for us, yes, in the playoffs and how it'll all play out for us. But more or less, these are games of let's improve. Let's take everything that we've seen in the past 2-3 weeks. Let's take those mistakes and let's improve on them. Let's see us correct them in the next 2 weeks. We get Spokane again, and we're all looking forward to that. But we have Tri-Cities first,
right?
And that's the number one goal this week is get Tri-Cities and let's go get that win. Let's get back on track.
All right, I'm ready.
Man, I'm more than ready.
Thanks for coming on, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. By the way, is that Florida State's that cap? Is that Florida State?
No. That's Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh, okay. All right,
man.
Secret
deep down love.
All right, Chris Martin, defensive back for the Billings Wolves. Thanks for coming on, Chris. We'll take us a 1-minute timeout. We'll come back with Chris Dixon after this. along with Coach Chris Dixon. I want to thank Joey Mack in the studio for engineering our broadcast, and want to encourage everybody to come on out Saturday night at EFX Field at Rimrock Auto Arena as the Billings Wolves will take on the Tri-Cities Fever in playoff implication football here in Billings, Montana. Coach, let's talk a little bit about that game. It's third time we played them this year. You know, that's always tough playing somebody that many times. Talk a little bit about this game and the team coming up. I know you've got a little bit of familiarity with their quarterback.
Well, it's funny because I was just looking at all the players on their roster, and it looks like Billings West.
Yeah,
It does.
It does kind
It
of.
does. If you look at it, Jawad Yadam.
There we go.
Yep, so
Right there.
Gant, Brown, Yadam, Zeldman, Ricardo Thompson. Yep, that's all of them.
Yep.
So
Billings
it's
West, huh? So that's what we're going to call them. Huh?
Tri-City Billings West. No, they're a great team, man. You know, they're going to come in here. They're going to work. They're still fighting for a playoff position. If they win this game, they could put their last game of the season as a playoff game, something to fight for. You know, what we got to do, we got to do too. And, you know, both of us is fighting for that certain spot in the playoffs, and we want to have a home game. So we need all our fans to come out and support this game so we can bring the, home playoff game back to Billings.
Yeah, that'd be great, to have that playoff game. And we know that if we win that first game, we're going to end up going to Spokane. They will host that second game, and then we'll talk about your lifetime dream after that Spokane game. But
remember the conversation me and you had on a personal level 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it's playing itself out.
It is.
I told
it is.
you that
right
what
over
could
there,
happen.
right over there at that
I told
table.
you what could happen, and I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
And it went the day it happens. We'll be able to announce what I told you that day sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
But no, we're excited. The long bus trips are over for a while. We get to be home for at least the next month. And so we're ready to go. A lot of guys, I'm going to give them the day off today, let them get their legs back, and pretty good workout this morning, and we're going to get back to work tomorrow. Just coaches meetings and stuff like that today, and getting ready for Tri-City.
What do you see? Do you see anything different in Tri-Cities this week compared to what you've seen? Of course, they got different players. We got different players.
They're a little bit more aggressive. Their defense taking more chances than they normally would. Their offense is, I want to say, it's trying to be like us a little bit more and more. There's a couple of plays I've seen that they haven't ran all year long that, was written out of our playbook a little bit. So, they're doing a couple of new things. They're using their big guy a little differently now. Their D-line is coming, and they made an adjustment. They added a D-lineman that's pretty good. So, they're doing things different. They're playing with two linebackers instead of just one with the 4 DBs. But they're playing with two linebackers, so it's gonna be amazing to see what they do.
A little bit about this last 2 games at home, and I know you want to go out on a winning streak into the playoffs, winning football. Of course, everybody does, but